Updates now on the South Korean plane crash. South Korea's acting President Choi Sang-mok on Monday ordered an emergency safety inspection of the country's entire airline operation system once the recovery work on the Jeju air crash is finished. The acting President Choi Sang-mok, who was only appointed on Friday, visited the site of the crash on Sunday. South Korea's Director General of Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport said that the country is planning to conduct a special inspection of all 101 Boeing 737-800s in operation in the country with U.S. investigators, possibly including from the beleaguered plane manufacturer Boeing, joining the probe into the crash. Well, South Korea's deadliest air accident ever killed 179 people on Sunday when an airliner belly landed and skidded off the end of the runway, erupting in a fireball as it slammed into a wall at Muan International Airport. Well, also the investigators are examining bird strikes and weather conditions as possible factors in the crash. Transport Ministry officials on Monday said as the pilots made a scheduled approach, they told air traffic control the aircraft had suffered a bird strike. Shortly after the control tower gave them a warning, birds were spotted in the vicinity. The pilots then declared Mayday and signaled their intention to go around shortly before the aircraft came down on the runway in a belly landing and crashed into a structure at the end of the runway.
The control tower advised the pilot with the phrase caution bird activity. At 8:59 a.m., the pilot reported an emergency declaration and go around due to a bird strike. The pilot declared Mayday, Mayday, Mayday 3 times and used the terms bird strike and go around. If there had been more time, there could have been requested preparation measures such as dispatching fire trucks to stand by and preparing for emergency landing. Typically, in such cases, the pilot makes these requests and the control tower coordinates by placing firefighting teams on standby.
And for more, we have Anil Thomas joining us. Well, Anil, given the recent landing gear malfunction on a Jeju air flight just a day after the Muan disaster, a lot of questions are being raised there regarding the safety concerns and prevention of them further. Get us more on the incident.
Well, good morning, Lipakshi. Contrasting reports, if one may look at the way things have played out, post that tragedy that took place in the last 24 hours. On one hand, you've got the air traffic control warning the pilot about a bird strike. Second, you've got adverse weather conditions that have gone along with it. But these two don't put together. Civil aviation experts are clearly asking what led to the malfunction of the landing gear not opening, because, these two, according to many civil aviation experts, don't add up together, especially when it comes to, this particular Boeing plane and its landing gear not functioning well, especially in this time of, the captains are not seeing Mayday. So, we'll have to wait for the black box has been recovered from the plane. We'll have to wait for the joint commission and the National Transport Airport Agency that comes into play, the investigation that happens. And see, South Korea is not in a process of there is a political crisis that's also taking place simultaneously. And I think this particular accident, somewhere, one of the worst that South Korean airlines have seen, but somewhere, bringing all the leaders together, and they seem to be somewhere on the same page, especially when it comes to addressing the victims, addressing the families, and addressing the issue that's before the civil aviation sector. It's united, the political force, but then, it's left 179 people dead. And this is a low-cost airline that started way back in 2005. And it's never seen, such an accident of this magnitude. It's one of the worst that South Korea has seen, and something that shook up the world, especially low-cost airlines once again who face the heat, as we approach New Year. This is flying season. Everyone would love to fly. And I think these kind of hiccups, along with what we saw in Air Canada, clearly upsetting that, flying desire, especially people, and leaving a lot to be desired.
All right, Anil, thank you so much for those details.